Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and I, just like everyone else in the fandom, have really been kept waiting long enough for this review because, well, we're talking about Cyprus today because yesterday they finally released the music video for their Eurovision entry, after announcing the title and artist several months ago and sort of keeping us in limbo. So we've known for basically the entire Eurovision season that Cyprus this year will be represented by pop star Tamta with the song Replay, and it's fully in English, music and lyrics by Alex P. Papakonstantinou, as well as Geraldo Sandel, Viktor Svensson, Albin Nedler, and Christopher Fogelmark. So just like last year, we've got quite the big team for a one-word title song. No, but I'm sort of getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So we have a large team, we have a female solo vocalist, so everything so far is kind of as we expected. And then they released the music video and we all listened to it, and I think those expectations were more or less met. And whether or not that's a compliment, I leave to your discretion to decide. As for me, well, let's get on with what I think about this song, shall we? Before I even begin with this, please know that at this point, the Eurovision fandom is on some very thin ice with me. I'm entirely too aware that no matter what I say in this review, someone is going to find some excuse to take exception and turn that into abuse. And it's all well and good telling me to just deal with it, but no, dear viewer, I have been doing this this is my 6th year of reviews now, and the onus is not on me to just deal with being abused by small-minded, deluded, insecure individuals who can't handle hearing dissenting opinions. The onus is on you to, I don't know, not be abusive? Why is that a hot take to the Eurovision fandom? God. Anyway, from the very beginning, when this song was first announced, I feared that it might be a literal replay of Fuego, and in a lot of ways it unashamedly is. There is no escaping that. But I'm not going to just write the song off as a consequence. Join me now on this journey through the highs and lows of this song, and let's see what we can learn as a result. First up, as always, the positives. Right, well, let's start with the visuals here. Chiefly, if you watch the music video, you'll see the frequent use of, like, stutter repetition in some of the footage. Or, well, in addition to that, footage being played forwards and then reversed and then forwards again to tie in with the motif of the replay. As it is, ever since this song was first announced, it's had that strong visual branding attached to it, what with the replay logo consisting of a backwards R, and then an E, and then the play icon. So this song will continue to have a distinctive, unique visual presence and strong branding. That's a good thing. As if that wasn't indicator enough that this is clearly a project led by industry professionals, I mean, just listen to the song and compare it to stuff that is in the international charts at the moment. Even here in the UK, this song would sound right at home on the radio, and British radio stations treat Eurovision songs like actual garbage. They never play them. So for this to break through that blatant discrimination would be quite a testament to its status as a piece of genuine modern pop. I could say that about its structure as well as its instrumentation, but that point raises problems that I'll come back to in just a moment. On the subject of its instrumentation, though, my favourite part of this song is the hook, if perhaps only because it's so brass forward, and y'all should know by now I do love me some deep brass in my pop music, but yes, the hook does its job really well of creating a memorable moment around which to build and sell the song. Great job there. And finally, and most fittingly, I would say that this song definitely has replay value. Pun not really intended because it's kind of not a pun, it's just a coincidence. That is, you could listen to it a couple of times in close succession, not necessarily back to back, but in close succession, and it would more or less have the same emotional impact or effect every single time, you know, mood, appeal, all of that good stuff. That's another point that makes the song marketable as well. You can hear it, like if you were to go out and like hear it in like 3 different shops, like during your weekly shopping trip or whatever, it would sound natural, and that makes it sellable. But that's not why I bring that up here, it's just, it's a fun coincidence as far as the marketing executives are concerned. Obviously, not everyone is going to feel every single one of these points. They're just thoughts that I've had. They're things that you might like, hence, you might like, because some people are struggling to understand that, apparently. Now, similarly and fairly, allow me to present some thoughts that might be had by people who aren't so keen on this song, because that is just as valid an opinion to have. Please get that through your head. Firstly, this song is insipid and vapid. It's the peak of disposable pop, insofar as it sounds mass-produced, commercial-driven, and kind of unfeeling and fictitious, despite it once again taking a team of 5 people to write it, or 6 according to some sources. For some people, yeah, that's a good thing, because some people do genuinely want to turn their brains off for 3 minutes and just bop along to a good tune, and the song succeeds in that department. It's a roaring success. But by that same token, some people don't listen to music for that reason, and their thoughts need to be considered here too. Some people will not like how artificial this song is. Now, the big central thing here, though, this song will never not be compared to Fuego. This song was clearly only written and submitted to be a follow-up to Eleni's entry from last year, and unless this song does better on the scoreboard, it will forever live in Eleni's shadow, just because Fuego happened first. I actually prefer Replay, personally. Like, give the two side by side, I would rather listen to Replay, and I do like both songs. But just by virtue of being released later, only off the back of Fuego's relative success, it's always going to draw those comparisons whether the artist wants you to or not. And honestly, those comparisons do have merit to them. This song is a literal replay of Fuego. The structure is the same, the tone is the same, the message is the same, the rhythm is the same, the design ethos is the same. In short, it is a painfully derivative track. That doesn't make it bad by any means, because it does still get the job done if you want to just listen to a piece of vapid music for 3 minutes. That's fine, that's valid. But some people will be turned away from this song because of how much it reminds them of exactly the same thing Cyprus did last year, beat for beat. Literally. Some people will like that. But remember, some people are over it and bored of it already. And I know that this song's inevitable stans are going to get so childishly angry over me saying that, but just... what happened to celebrate diversity, huh? Where did that go? Now, for my ratings out of 10. Personally, in my personal opinion, I give it a who cares, you're just going to get angry no matter what I say out of 10. As I said earlier, I like this more than I like Fuego, mostly because of the hook, and they're both songs that I could happily switch off and bop along to in the right circumstances. That is a valid use of music. In fact, I actually busted out some mean hairography to Fuego at my best friend's wedding last year, so it's not like I'm immune to the appeal. But surely you can see the problem here. This song is so hard to separate from its predecessor because it was so clearly written to capitalize on Eleni's success, which detracts a lot from the song's integrity and individuality. Even in a vacuum, without even taking Fuego into consideration, it is just another tinned pop song, just add one sultry female singer and plug until golden platinum. And no, Cyprus, I'm not trying to have a go at you personally for doing this. I just don't like how artificial and how contrived all this is. It's not the country's fault, it's the team behind it who happen to be representing Cyprus. So don't go getting all conspiratorial, oh, clearly you're only getting angry because it's Cyprus. If XYZ country did it instead, you wouldn't care. Yes, I would! This song is derivative. On a technical side, meanwhile, I can only cap this song at a 7 out of 10. For the lovely people keeping track, by the way, this song gets a combined score of 14 out of 20. You do the maths. In any case, this song does tick all the right boxes for a modern pop song to achieve commercial, record label-led success in the charts. But it is just another cookie-cutter box-ticker pop song that brings nothing new to the table and just follows the same tired formula. Of course, that didn't stop Eleni coming second last year, so evidently there are people who will get behind this song no matter what, and that's valid. There is a place for this kind of music in the world, but here we go again, living in Fuego's shadow. And before you get your torches and pitchforks out screaming at me that this will win for certain, 12 points from the moon, this is a masterpiece, blah blah blah, maybe, before you say that, go and talk to the people standing France and Italy and Portugal. Once you lot work out who the real guaranteed winner is, maybe then we can talk. In the meantime, I'm not interested. 7 out of 10. In the meantime, is this a good move for Cyprus? For their reputation, I would say not really, but I'll be as generous as I can and call this a neutral move. Their strategy is just like last year in a sense, but tinged with record label greed. Last year, they brought in big names and corporate sponsorships to see if that hype would be enough to award Cyprus its first victory, and it almost worked, to their credit. This year, it feels much more disingenuous and insincere because it's not an experiment anymore, it's a borderline desperate-seeming attempt to ride their own coattails to an artificial success. Yes, if people truly like this song, and they do, that is a good and valid thing, and it makes people happy, which means that in that respect at least, it is a success. But there are some of us who can't look past how synthetic, how artificial this whole song feels, like it's specifically designed to pluck at whatever makes you feel, rather than to legitimately evoke those feelings. No disrespect to Tamta though, she's a good artist, I'm not denying that, it's just, bearing in mind the thought process behind this song, I feel like she deserves better. Now, will this song qualify? What's the bloody point? Of course it's going to qualify. Much like Fuego before it, Replay is going to play the hype game and rely on "Yes, Queen, slay" stands to keep its popularity ticking over, helped by the more toxic members of the fandom to go around abusing and silencing anyone who dares treat the song like an actual valid fellow entry, and not some god-given ambrosia that sits on a level completely and untouchably above the other competitors in the same competition. Yes, this song does have some native appeal of its own, and the people who engage with that on the night will, by valid means, assist in it scaling the scoreboard. But let's face it, the hyperstands will carry it through the televote, and the jury members who vote with their wallets on the most commercially viable entries rather than the all-around actual best-in-show entries, as is their job, will back it up on the other side of the voting too. To reiterate, I'm not discrediting everyone who likes this song. You might like it for genuine reasons, and that is valid. I'm just questioning the motives and methods of the people who commissioned it in the first place. That's all. But what do you think as an individual? These are my thoughts, and yes, I'm getting rather heated up over this, but my opinion is just one opinion. Your opinion is just one opinion. I want to hear yours. Maybe you can convince me that I'm wrong. I would like to have a polite, civil discussion now that I've got all this out of my system. As ever, there is a poll in the iCard of this video, and I'll leave the comments open for now. But if it gets anywhere near as toxic as it did when I reviewed Portugal, or when I've reviewed controversial songs in previous years, I will disable them on the spot, so if they're disabled now, that's why. On this channel, we celebrate diverse opinions. That means not shutting down and screaming at people who disagree with you. It means having a civil conversation to discover why people feel a certain way. Am I being childish? Am I being defensive? I have to be, because I know what the crazy hyperstands can be like. I know how people are going to rally around this song, whether they like it or whether they just hate me for whatever reason. So I can't help but be defensive because I know I'm speaking on behalf of a minority that's going to be shouted down. That being said, grow up or go away. Your call. In the meantime, to Tamta, I do wish you the very best of luck, and I'm hoping that you earn a result through your own hard work and not just through whatever the record labels want you to do. I believe in you personally, though I struggle to respect the ethos behind the team who picked the song, but Tamta at the very least I respect as an individual, so see you in May, and maybe you can change my mind.